Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Carly rejects Michael's and Sonny's compromise. In the upcoming GH, Carly has to act quickly to prevent Sonny from exacting his retaliation on Sidwell, more especially on Sidwell's son, Marco. Curtis Ashford gives a lecture to Kai Taylor. Sasha Gilmore is presented with a compromise by Michael Corinthos in the meanwhile. Michael Corinthos' compromise lets begin with Sasha, who is utterly terrified over the disappearance of Daisy Gilmore Corinthos. Even after the baby was located, Sasha questions whether people believe she is insane. Sasha planned to take the baby and leave Port Charles after Michael said he believed her. Michael, though, makes an effort to make Sasha an offer. Perhaps Michael will propose that Sasha temporarily move in with him. Kai Taylor admits it appears like Kai Willie will admit to Curtis. All okay, but Curtis gives the young man a lecture. He accuses Kai of interfering in matters about which he has no knowledge. Even if that might be a caution, Drew Kane also dazzles and impresses Kai. Additionally, it would be simple to imagine Drew manipulating Kai in the same way that he manipulates Willow Tate. Drew Kane's leverage. According to today's episode spoilers, Drew will be waiting for a surprise delivery. Drew asks someone what they have for him in the promo video. Could it be Jacinda, who abandoned Curtis? Drew's people were also searching for her. Additionally, fans will witness Stella Henry's efforts to steer Portia Robinson in the proper direction. In relation to Portia, she speaks with Jordan Ashford. Jordan, though, questions Portia's assertions. Sonny Corinthos is urged by Carly Spencer not to escalate the mafia battle with Jen Sidwell. All of the youngsters involved will be Carly's top priority. Good luck persuading Sonny to put down the sword, but they don't want any more deaths or bloodshed. Lucas Jones then makes a specific request to Carly. Jocelyn Jacks is also questioned by Emma Scorpio Drake. As Joss and Vaughn pretended to argue and split up, fans watched. Emma was intrigued by that, but has she been duped? Keep an eye out because Emma might not be as stupid as everyone believes. GH spoilers, Sasha is pushed to the verge of postpartum darkness by Willow snatching Daisy. After Sasha Gilmore Corbin discovered her newborn daughter, Daisy Corinthos Gilmore, gone from her cot at the Quartermaine home during the 4th of July fireworks, she began a desperate search, which caused panic in Port Charles, according to General Hospital spoilers. Because of her anguish from losing her first child, her son Liam Mike Corbin, Sasha is on the verge of losing her mind due to the kidnapping. Willow Corinthos is a baby napper, and everyone around Sasha blames suspects like Jen Sidwell, Drew Quartermaine, or even an unidentified person connected to Britt Westbourne's return. However, a more sinister question remains: could this horror series send Sasha into postpartum depression and destroy her already fragile mental state? A last-ditch chase for Daisy. Sasha's desperate hunt for the person who abducted Daisy, supported by Jason Morgan and Michael Corinthos, has yielded few leads since the fireworks have obscured any sign of the kidnapper. Drew is a possible suspect because of his machinations, which are stoking rumors that he might be retaliating against Michael for his recent custody victory for Amelia and Wiley Corinthos. While Britt's impending homecoming suggests a twisted baby caper, Sidwell's confrontation with Sonny Corinthos may have targeted Daisy in an attempt to undermine the Corinthos clan. Will Sasha be able to contain herself long enough to locate Daisy, and who is responsible for this terrifying deed? GH spoilers say Sasha's fragile mind at risk. Sasha is a ticking time bomb due to her postpartum weakness, which is already strained by strange events like Daisy's crib mix-up. Michael and the other members of the Quartermaine clan are concerned that she may develop postpartum depression as a result of the fear of the kidnapping, as seen by her sobbing outbursts at the estate. Her previous mental health issues following Liam's passing give rise to concerns that she may deteriorate, particularly if Michael or Nina Reeves have any doubts about her stability. Will Sasha crumble under the weight of her growing sorrow, or will Michael's faith be able to hold her rooted? Will Willow's plan be exposed before it gets out of hand? A crisis that could shatter her. Sasha finds herself at the center of premature catastrophe following her kidnapping scare with Daisy, which intersects with Sonny's war on Sidwell and Michael's custody fallout. Sasha's anger may strengthen her battle if they find out about Willow's involvement, but a postpartum depression may cause her to lose the support of her loved ones. Will Sasha's descent into postpartum depression overshadow The Hunt, and will Daisy's abduction expose Willow's involvement in manipulating a new mother's emotions and mental state? The unspoken bond between Johnny from Days and Rocco from GH is almost creepy. Imagine if Johnny and Rocco had met and sympathized with each other's unsettling backstories. They might become buddies quickly. It seemed impossible to overcome the tragedy that poor Johnny had endured on Days of Our Lives. He discovered the terrible reality of his covert origin. His father, EJ, coerced his mother, Sammy, into becoming pregnant with him. Meanwhile, Rocco discovered his origin story on General Hospital. After stealing Dante and Lulu's embryo and implanting it in herself, Dr. Britt Westbourne became pregnant with the boy. Even though there hasn't been an inter-network crossover in a long time, Johnny and Rocco ought to meet up and share their origin stories. Their stories are similar even while Gio in GH recently experienced trauma after discovering his parents were not his biological parents, but entire drama took place off-screen. Britt gave birth to Rocco, whom she named Ben, and we had the opportunity to see her nurture the kid for a year. It was also devastating when Lulu and Dante finally admitted that Ben was their child. Johnny discovered the terrible truth about his mother Sammy's need for assistance when Lucas was stranded in a collapsed cabin in Salem. She located EJ and pleaded with him for assistance. If she slept with him, he would agree. Given that Johnny is now a suspect in his father's attempted murder, it is likely that the young man might get enraged and seek retribution upon hearing the upsetting information. They could reach an agreement. Maybe Johnny goes to Port Charles for work, but Rocco is probably a bit too young to travel alone. He might get together with the Ladies of Deception in order to negotiate for Gabby Chic. Someone directs him to Bobby's Diner so he can enjoy some of the surrounding landscape when he has some free time. Rocco might enter there and have a bite to eat as well. The two may start a conversation while seated at the counter, particularly if Rocco appears depressed and Johnny asks what's wrong. The two might exchange notes and offer consolation for their difficult beginnings. They could have a serious discussion, and even though Johnny's story is much worse than Rocco's, Johnny would understand how insane Britt's behavior was. Before it destroys them all, Carly begs Sonny to set aside his retaliation. While Curtis verbally abuses Kai and Aunt Stella gives Portia some advice, Drew receives some much-needed intelligence. "I can't let you leave," Michael says to Sasha. Will he confess his unwavering love for her? Most likely not. However, according to the weekly teases, Michael puts forth his terms. Hopefully, Sasha will be understanding and understand that she doesn't have to leave Port Charles. "You are meddling in affairs that you don't understand," Curtis admonished Kai, and Kai obviously acknowledged telling Drew about Curtis' scheme. Telling Drew in the first place was worse than that. Kai and the Curb might become best friends after Trina learns. "You and Curtis need to remember what you mean to each other," Aunt Stella tells Portia. Does anyone actually care about Curtis and Portia anymore at this point? They should probably end their relationship because he is very critical and she consistently makes poor decisions. "Continue to harass me," Marco tells a few reporters. "I'll file a lawsuit." Who is better suited to file a lawsuit than a lawyer? Hopefully, he doesn't have the brilliant notion to reverse the situation and openly accuse Sonny of being responsible for Natalia's passing. "If you escalate, you put us all in danger," Carly cautions Sonny. She's not entirely incorrect, but what is a mobster to do when their family is in peril? Everyone will be able to tell that he was responsible if he does something that almost kills Marco. The teasers also reveal that Drew gains leverage against an adversary, so perhaps he did reach Jacinda. Drew tells someone, "You said you had something for me." She will eventually turn on Congressman Cutthroat, though, if he manages to kidnap her. Early week spoilers for GH July 14th to 18th, Marco's Destiny, Rocco's Audacious Move, and Ava's Temptation. According to General Hospital teasers for the week of July 14th, there will be some surprises. Supporters may anticipate more temptation for Ava Jerome. Rocco Falconeri does something daring. Furthermore, what will become of Marco Rios? The first person we'll talk about is Jason Morgan, who has some tasks to finish for Sonny Corinthos. One of them is attacking Marco in retaliation for Jen Sidwell. The Moss leader informed his right-hand man that they were after the villain's son because Sidwell had pursued his daughter, Christina Corinthos Davis. Marco Rios' anger. The death of Natalia Ramirez has angered Marco. Marco and Sidwell both hold Sunny accountable for the woman's death, despite the fact that it was an overdose. Sidwell may have his own scheme to hold Sunny accountable. Will Marco, though, agree to all the carnage? Marco is a legal expert and a kind man. But pain and injustice may darken people. Next week's General Hospital spoilers indicate that Sasha Gilmore will have to make some important choices. Daisy Gilmore Corinthos should leave Port Charles, according to Sasha. But Michael Corinthos will make another recommendation. Michael is adamant about keeping Sasha and Daisy near him, but when will Willow Tate's heinous scheme be revealed? Fans may witness Willow's behavior worsen during the week of July 14, 2025, as she appears to be turning a dark corner. Before the month is up, Kelly Thiebaud will return. Given that Rocco recently learned about Britt's involvement in his life, that might be a major plot point. Jocelyn Jackson and Emma Scorpio Drake may eventually work together on the Professor Henry Hank Dalton probe, I do believe. Additionally, the relationship between Trina Robinson and Kai Taylor may soon be in jeopardy. Ava and Cody Bell may be subject to additional temptation. Ava frequently does this before getting into bed with someone, even if she turned down Cody's kiss. What impact will this have on Molly Lansing Davis's future and Max Scorpio's matchmaking? The betrayal no one saw coming, the Willow unraveling the Quartermaine estate, or the hearts of those who previously called Willow family, were on the verge of a flame that was nothing like the July heat that simmered low over Port Charles. What had started out as an eerie mystery was now developing into something much more sinister. Sasha's subtle intuition had been warning her something wasn't right for weeks. Daisy, her infant, would be dressed differently than she recalled dressing her. The crib had been moved just a few inches from its original location when she woke up in the middle of the night. The nursery door, which was always secured, was once discovered open. However, Sasha's worry was never validated by any proof, CCTV footage, or indications of a break-in. It was only believed by her. And that seclusion was intentional. Because no one suspected the individual who had broken into her tranquility and disrupted her motherhood. Willow. The journey from mother to intruder started out slowly. Conveniently, Willow had been seen at the Metro Court pool during Michael and Wiley's visit. Too easy. The employees wrote it off as a coincidence. Sasha didn't. However, the reality was more sinister. Willow had been falling apart ever since the court's ruling. Something inside her broke when Michael was given full custody of Amelia and Wiley. Her parental attachment changed rather than vanished. And it turned its attention to Daisy. Willow initially just observed from a distance, calm, patient, and unnoticed. Obsession, however, never stops. It gets sharper. She was no longer only observing by the second week of July. Daisy was being taken by her. Strolling her in the moonlight. Whispering excuses laced with sorrow. I was betrayed by your mother. Additionally, your father forbids me from seeing my children. They must know what it's like to have a child taken away. The moment everything broke, the veil came off on Tuesday, July 8th. Despite checking the locks 3 times, Sasha discovered the baby had disappeared from the crib once more. The terror was paralyzing this time. The staff at the estate was shaken by the volume of her scream. Michael contacted the cops right away after running in and noticing the empty nursery. The infant returned to the bassinet in the living room an hour later. The same as previously. Michael saw something different this time, though, a small track of dirt running across the floor. Grass. As though Daisy had been taken in from the outside. Chase was summoned. Sasha was questioned once more about whether or not she may have dreamed it. However, she hadn't. And it would be undeniable this time. Jason connects the dots. In the meantime, Jason had begun his own investigation, particularly after Sasha told him that a daisy flower had been left on the baby's dresser with the words, "She's mine too," written underneath it. He discreetly requested permission from Sunny to have a private security patrol around the estate. After Michael cooperated, one of the ground cameras showed what Sasha's nerves had been screaming for hours. Willow. Slipping through the laundry door and inside the mansion. Barefoot. Hooded. And taking Daisy wrapped in a blanket with them. Jason's lips tightened in rage as he silently watched the video. He shut down the laptop when he saw the picture of Willow whispering in Daisy's ear and planting a gentle kiss on her forehead. He said to Michael, "We have a problem." The fallout. Michael and Jason approached Sasha with the facts at around midnight. Jason declared that she was the one. Michael had to grab Sasha before she fell after her knees gave out. She was silent for an entire minute. Jason spoke icily, then slowly. "She's not well, she's sick. She went too far, sick or not." Several times. Michael stumbled. There was a part of him that hoped Willow could be saved. However, a genuinely parental part of him sought justice for his daughter. And for the woman he now had complete faith in to bring her up. A house divided. Michael contacted Alexis the following morning and started drafting a restraining order against Willow. Sasha signed her confession with a shaking hand, tears still hanging to her lashes. However, the police had previously been notified of the matter. Olivia contacted Mac, and there was no delay when the officers showed the evidence. Within 1 hour, an arrest warrant was issued. The arrest. Willow was at the hospital when they discovered her glancing at a photo she had printed from her phone while leaning against the wall of an empty conference room. A year-old photo of Wiley and Amelia. Their grins were captured in a moment. The voice of the officer was heard. She blinked as like she were waking from a dream, then said, "Willow Tate, you are under arrest for unlawful entry, child endangerment, and kidnapping." What realization eventually dawned on her as she noticed Chase and Mac standing behind them. Her knees buckled. She wept. "I didn't injure her. All I wanted to do was hold her. To experience something once more." Willow turned to Mac as they escorted her away in handcuffs, tears running down her cheeks. Mac's expression was set in stone. "Please, tell Michael I'm sorry. You can speak to him directly. In court." The unexpected diagnosis. Later that day, Sam paid Carly a visit after she had just returned from her altercation with Willow the previous day. She described the conversation. Carly paced and remarked, "I thought she was acting weird over the Wiley stuff. However, this is not the same thing. More is happening," Jason concurred. For this reason, Diane Miller requested a psychological evaluation of Willow prior to her formal arraignment. Even the experts were taken aback by what transpired. The dissociation theory doctors at GH's mental health wing suspected Willow of having a serious dissociative condition, likely dissociative identity condition, after a protracted evaluation. Recall lapses, erratic emotional reactions, moments of bewilderment, and, most importantly, a complete loss of recall during the walks with Daisy had all been there, strewn about. Another voice came out of hypnosis. A piece of Willow. It was resentful, hurt, and vindictive. It did not view Sasha as a victim. The voice said, "She took my family. The town reacts, I just took hers." The news swept over Port Charles like a tsunami. Wiley heard classmates whispering at the courthouse. One said, "His mother stole a baby. He just knew that Amelia sobbed for hours that night and that Michael was by her side the entire time." Monica sat silently with Bobby at the hospital. Not even they knew what justice should entail. The woman who had been Michael's wife, a cherished instructor, and a kind person sat in a locked room at Ferncliff, where Willow was sent for observation, talking to herself. Salvation or destruction? Sasha only came once. She didn't bring rage. Just a query. Why? Willow avoided looking into her eyes. Because I desired to be important once more. Sasha examined her, saying, because I needed to feel something other than pain. Then, quietly, Daisy is safe. That's all that matters now, Willow said, looking up and cracking her voice. Is Michael okay? Sasha remained silent. She simply got up and left. The sentence Willow would continue receiving mental treatment at Ferncliff, the court decided at her formal hearing. Her parental rights over Amelia and Wiley were placed on indefinite hold. The hearing was not attended by Michael. He had Daisy in his arms at home. Carly, however, did. She got up and walked out without saying anything when the judge issued the final ruling. A conclusion. or a start. Port Charles adapted to its new reality as the summer heat continued to rise. The wounds did not stop, but the whispers did. When Jason spoke with Mac, he assured him that every precaution would be taken to keep Sasha and Daisy safe. Michael concentrated on putting his family back together. And Willow started treatment, alone, under observation, and on medication. Time would tell whether version of Willow would survive, but as one doctor wrote in her file, the mind fractures to survive. Sometimes it heals. Sometimes, it stays broken. A stolen baby, trauma, and grief, Willow's unsettling new GH chapter. Caitlin McMullen revealed the source of Willow's desire for vengeance against Sasha and Michael. Despite fans' suspicions that Nellie Benson was resurrecting and torturing Sasha on General Hospital, Willow was actually the one responsible. In addition to tampering with baby Daisy's phone, she also rearranged the child's clothes and cot position. She also gave Sasha the impression that the infant had been abducted. Caitlin McMullen talked candidly about Willow's motivation and her dark descent. Willow's not quite all there. McMullen told Soap Opera Digest that she was initially unaware that Willow would take a dark turn. She heard Sophia Matson's character Sasha yelling that she was handed the wrong kid on another set while filming the hospital scenes following Willow's courtroom tantrum. Who could have done that? McMullen thought. Shortly afterward, she became aware that her character was playing tricks on Sasha. Although it appeared a bit out of character, she thought this gloomy turn was understandable. The actress said, "It kind of just helped me double down on that there are just going to be moments where she's not quite there, you know?" After realizing that Willow was losing her children in court and was getting insane, the story is based on Willow's trauma and grief in addition to her sorrow over the custody dispute. McMullen expressed the opinion that Willow's trauma is definitely going to influence the way that she goes about doing things. She pointed to Willow's difficult upbringing as a significant contributing cause to her descent into darkness. Remember that Willow grew up in the dishonest cult known as Dawn of Day. Regarding Willow's trauma-based reasoning, she said, "I think that's just a really interesting human thing to explore." She believed that Willow's bad experiences were influencing her choices at the moment. Willow's retaliation is a significant dark shift for the character, as she wants Sasha and Michael to feel her suffering. Kirsten Storms announces her move to Tennessee, her return date, and other details about her GH hiatus. According to General Hospital spoilers, when Nicole Paggi was revealed as Kirsten Storm's temporary replacement as Maxie Jones on Thursday, July 3rd, viewers were caught off guard. Having said that, Paggi performed as Maxie in December 2023 and has 2 more gigs coming up, one on July 30th and the other on August 13th. Storms is scheduled to make a brief reappearance on the canvas the week of August 18th. Social media update for Kirsten Storms. Storms posted a video to Instagram, revealing some very important news. She is leaving Los Angeles for Tennessee and won't be returning to the role of Maxie Jones until November or December of this year. She will be relocating there with Harper Rose Barish, her daughter with her ex-husband Brandon Barish. The caption said, "I can't wait to call Tennessee home. After Harper and I settle into our new town, I can't wait to go back to GH." The caption continues, "I intend to share as much of my new experience on my social media as I can. Moving to a place like this has always been a dream of mine. It's difficult to accept that it's actually happening." The actress explains in the video that this leave of absence had been scheduled since March 2025, adding, "I meant to post this video a few weeks ago, and time just got away from me." She also says that in March, "I asked Frank Valentini, our amazing executive producer. I had a conversation with him about my reasons for wanting to move, and my desire to not leave the show." Storms adds, "Now, when you approach a job like this, they can always be like, forget it." The actress revealed that she has finished scenes by claiming that she had her final taping of the year the week before last. "I will let you out of your contract if you're going to leave the state," she said, adding, "GH did not do that, which was kind of amazing because I also asked for some time off." She shares some insight into her exit narrative in the Instagram video, saying, "I promise you the storyline they have going on until my return to Port Charles is kind of incredible. You guys are going to freak out, actually." She also says, "It's possible I will be back in December, maybe November." The actress says, "I really want to thank GH, the ABC network executives, and the writers for agreeing to let me take this time," as she ends the video. "I can't wait to see the comments online about that." she also addressed possible rumors by saying, "Really quick about the online rumors, and I'll get into some of this stuff at a later date. This is just me very long-windedly explaining that I'm taking a break and moving to Tennessee." She concluded the video by saying, "If you don't read about it or watch a video on it from my page, take it with a grain of salt. I know Frank and the producers there understand my reasons, and I am so grateful that they understand and are supportive. People like to say a lot of things. Sonny wants revenge, and Sasha wants to leave Port Charles. Michael Corinthos prohibits Sasha Corbin from leaving Port Charles, while Sonny Corinthos is pursuing Marco Rios. Kai Taylor also overhears Felcia Scorpio informing Curtis Ashford that Jacinda has already bailed. Drew and Kai reconnect at the pool after swimming together at Metro Court Pool. Drew, Kane, and Kai talk about Kai's internship and Drew thanks Kai. Although Kai likes Trina Robinson's parents, he felt that they shouldn't be able to hold Drew accountable for something he didn't do. Drew is aware that this circumstance would have affected both his own daughter Scout Kane and Willow Tate's ability to regain custody of her children. Kai hopes Trina would understand that he had to make the correct decision. He later overhears Felicia telling Curtis that he blames Drew since Jacinda bailed. Jordan promises to do the right thing after Felicia visits Curtis' office to give him an update. She was able to convince Jacinda to return to the United States, and she will be there in a day. Jordan Ashford enters as she is leaving. Curtis tries to explain what transpired the other night, but Jordan understands that Portia Robinson was merely attempting to preserve her marriage. Jordan feels bad, but Curtis doesn't agree with her. She was there for him when he needed help, and he unwittingly put her in a tough situation. Jordan chooses to keep her distance from him after she tells him that Portia threw iced drink on her, causing him to lose his rage. He calls her a class act before she departs, and Felicia later comes back to Curtis' office to let him know that Jacinda has changed her mind. Trina and Ava Jerome admire Cody's handiwork at the Jerome Art Gallery. Trina and Ava Jerome discuss how Cody Bell helped her set up the gallery while they take in the artwork. She acknowledges that she can indulge herself, and they value the eco-friendly lighting. Ava tells Trina that her parents would take care of their relationship on their own, despite her concerns. She tells Trina to focus on Kai and herself, and Trina agrees that they are an excellent fit. Ava thinks she could teach Rick Lansing a valuable lesson. Cody checks in with Christina, concerned that he might have overreached himself last night. Cody pays Christina Corinthos Davis a visit at her house. He reveals that after kissing Ava because he felt a connection, she slapped him. Since they still set up the apartment, Christina tells him that there may still be hope. She suggests that he turn Ava against Rick, and everything will work out. Cody pauses a little because he has learned more about Ava and has come to the conclusion that she is more complex than he first believed. Christina disagrees. When he tells Kiki Jerome what occurred, Christina admits it was terrible, but she is more worried about Molly Lansing Davis. Cody and Christina are still talking about how he seduced Ava when Molly enters the room. He feels that they should tell Molly about their plans, but he knows that she will tell her father. Molly would rather that he be with Elizabeth Baldwin than Ava. They must keep it a secret. Molly then comes in and asks what the secret is. Chrissy tells him that he's good for helping them after the fire. When Molly learns that he's attending the gallery show, she's shocked because that's not like him. He admits this but explains that he hung the pictures for Ava. Molly is shocked that her sister didn't criticize Ava when he leaves, and she admits that she saw Ava's interest in Cody. Christina is pleased to see how upset Molly is at Ava's attempt to approach Cody. While Lucas Jones is undergoing surgery, Rick asks Liz out at the hospital. She is already making plans to visit the Joel Sartor exhibit. Carly confronts Willow in GH. He asks her to accompany him as he is going too. She likes his company but doesn't want to deceive him, and he apologizes for being very direct. Carly Spencer, meantime, comes up to Willow to let her know that she will not get away with what she did at the pool. Carly threatens to exclude Willow from Metro Court if there is another incident similar to the one at the pool, but Willow refuses to follow her advice and doesn't want to marry Drew. Carly reminds Willow that she kept her away from her son when he was in Germany, and Willow accuses her of being callous. Before things get out of hand, Lucas intervenes and takes Carly away. Carly and Lucas continue their conversation, followed by Liz and Lucas. He also doesn't like Willow, but he has a request for her. He wants her to protect Marco from Sonny, who might believe Sidwell started the fire at Charlie's. Lucas is still worried about a possible confrontation, even though Carly says Sonny doesn't typically target innocent people. Later, Liz asks about Marco's health. They both acknowledge that Lucas feels bad about stopping by Charlie's to help Christina escape the fire, and Lucas characterizes it as complex. Lucas calls him the messiest man since he began dating Ava, and Liz reveals that Rick has asked her out. Liz thinks she was able to convey to him that they are merely friends. Michael and Sasha talk about Daisy's danger. Sasha informs Michael that she won't take her eyes off her child at the Q mansion by the boathouse. Sasha is perplexed as to how Daisy Gilmore got into the bassinet, and Michael tries to reassure her. She is concerned about the musical mobile that activated while she was away and the onesie she was wearing when she left the room. Sasha wonders if Michael thinks she's crazy, but he assures her that he doesn't mistrust her and that he accepts everything she says. Michael believes that everything has a reason. Sasha begins to cry, but he maintains that someone has abducted his baby and purposefully hidden her. "I know you," he says, acknowledging her fortitude and poise. Sasha argues that she should leave the Quartermaine estate because she feels it's time to do so, but Michael forbids her from leaving Port Charles. She insists on leaving when he offers increasing security, but he affirms that he has faith in her judgment. He asks where she is going and offers to cover the expenses, but she is adamant about getting out of Port Charles. He offers for her and Daisy to move in with Felicia and Max Scorpio or Carly's home. Michael is shocked, but she has already lost one child, so she feels compelled to hide in order to protect Daisy. That's not something Michael can let her do. Jason and Sonny talk about Sidwell and Marco at Sonny's. Jason, Morgan and Sonny talk about how Jens Sidwell should be held accountable for his targeting of his family. It appears to be a trap, especially in light of the media's emphasis on PC risks. Sidwell is undoubtedly manipulating Selena Wu if she is involved. Jason calls the fire old school, but Sonny tells him that Christina is fine, although a little shaken. He believes that the person in charge is different from the one involved in the penthouse incident, which makes protecting the family more difficult. When Sonny tells Jason that Natalia Ramirez killed herself, he and acting DA Justine Turner feel bad. Carly comes to tell Sonny to keep away from Marco and to stop any more of their children from dying. He hopes things could have turned out differently for Natalia, who felt that their romantic relationship was the tipping point for her. This is bad news for Marco because Jason has already made plans regarding him. Just say the word, and the plan will be set in motion. He realizes he needs to leave deception and remarks on Sidwell, saying, "That fire can't go unanswered, they need to send him a warning. If you threaten my child, your child will suffer." Carly shows up at Sonny's place and tells him she's there to ensure no more of their children die. Rick brings flowers to Ava, Willow surprises Drew at the Metro Court, and Kai departs as Willow tells her fiancé about her conversation with Carly. Drew reassures her that they will show the judge that they can give the children a secure home. He apologizes for the current state of affairs and they kiss. Cody shows up to the gallery as Trina is leaving the room. He helps her carry some boxes and says he's sorry for what he did the night before. When Rick shows up with flowers for Ava, Trina submerges them in water, and Rick hands her a check for the gallery. She brushes it off as a minor inconvenience and he leaves. Cody watches as they make amends after she finds him considerate and Rick asks for her forgiveness. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.